What's going on, everyone? Jack here from Half Chrome, and today I got the happy model Moblite7 HDZero. That's right, this guy is another one of those HD whoops coming out of Happy Model. And you can see the Moblite7 is absolutely bigger than the Moblite6, right? So we've got this 75mm frame versus this 65mm frame. You know, a lot of the internal components on this Moblite7 are the same as the Mobula6 HDZero, right? I get the names confused. Anyway, yeah, the flight controller, it's an F4 flight controller, Crazy Bee, all-in-one ESC 5 amp, I believe. We've got built-in ELRS 2.0 SPI receiver, but there is a big difference, and that's these motors, right? So instead of 0802s, we got 1002s. We got 1002 20,000 kV brushless motors, and these guys absolutely pack more of a punch. Pair that with a larger propeller, and you've got both longer flight time and more power. Now you can see that I swapped out the bi-blade props for tri-blades. I feel I get a little bit better cornering with that, but I think I chose the wrong ones. In fact, I busted a motor here. I'll tell you about the mistake that I made so you don't make it too. Anyway, stay tuned. We're going to talk about this, the Moblite7, how that compares to the Moblite6. Plus, we've got the 2S Mobula7 HDZero version. And what about the good old analog thing? Yeah. You know, I don't know that just because this is the newest, it's the best. I mean, I love this thing. I'm going to fix that motor, and I'm going to be flying this thing quite a bit. But I think that some of these other drones may be better for other people. So we're going to talk about this, but we're also going to talk about some of these other options that might be better for you. Stay tuned. So first, let's talk a little bit more about the Moblite7. And yeah, this thing's great. Checking in at 29 grams. You know, if you've flown 75mm whoops before, this thing is a blast. It flies really well. You got enough power to do acro if you're flying outside. It's small enough to fly indoors. It's not crazy powerful because it is a 1S drone. Now, it is absolutely more powerful than the 1S version of this 65mm whoop, right? The bigger props, the bigger motors ensure that you're going to get more power, and you absolutely do. I actually prefer the slightly more docile, slightly more nimble Mobula6, but that's just me. I like flying these things inside, in my house, in my basement, through tight places, and a smaller drone is going to get you into tighter places. So for me, that's what I want. I also love the crystal clear HD video feed coming out of these things. HDZero is fantastic. I love it. But it does come at a cost, right? So this drone here, the Moblite7 HDZero, is going to cost you about $230. Now that doesn't take into account the fact that you're going to have something like this. This is a VRX, something that's going to receive that HD signal and send it to your goggles. The good thing about HDZero is you don't have to buy all new components. You can buy things that work with some of your existing setup, right? I just snap these guys onto my Sky Zones, and I've got picture. Pretty much if you've got an HDMI in, this VRX will work. Now there is also a full set of HDZero goggles that you could opt for, but those are going to be a little bit more expensive. Now I said it's more powerful than the Mobula6, but what about the Mobula7 HDZero, right? This is the Moblite, this is the Mobula7, and this guy's going to fly on 2 or 3S. Absolutely. This one here, the Mobula7, the 2-3S version, way more powerful, right? Also heavier. This thing's checking in at 40 grams all by itself. It's got a different VTX. It's got a different camera. It's got bigger motors. So it's just a bigger, more capable quad in terms of carrying heavier batteries. So you're going to get more power out of this Moblite7. So if you like flying outside and you want a little bit more juice, this this Mobula7 is the way to go. It's definitely got the Moblite7 beat there. Now what about something like this, the Mobula7? This is the ELRS version. Again, ELRS, if you don't know what it is, check it out. It's basically the best signal in terms of radio link that you can get. You're gonna be able to fly these drones further from you. You're probably gonna run out of video feed before you run out of radio link. But this analog drone, it's going to be a little bit lighter, so it's going to be a little bit zippier, a little bit more powerful, and the VTX isn't going to draw as much power, so you're also going to get more flight time out of pretty much any of these analog quads versus their HDZero counterparts. So something to keep in mind. Plus, they're going to be a lot cheaper. You can buy a 75mm whoop from anywhere from like $80 to $130 for some of the premium versions. And again, that's still $100 cheaper than the HDZero. Now, you're not getting the HDZero quality in the goggles with any of the analog quads. I don't care how great your analog setup is, it's not going to be on par with HDZero. It just isn't. I actually have a video comparing all of the different HD video feeds, whether it's HDZero, DJI, the new Avata, or even the Walk Snail Fat Shark stuff. So if you want to see how they compare, take a look at that. HDZero isn't the best in terms of video quality, but it is the best in terms of latency and fixed latency. The problem that I have with DJI and Avatar is kind of the fluctuating latency, so the timing changes, and that just makes things a little bit more difficult. Either way, I love HDZero for whoops. I love it for racers. I actually really like it overall. It's a quality video system, and I don't think it's going to be quite as expensive as some of those others. Plus, like I said, you don't have to buy all new stuff. You can just kind of add things to your existing goggles. $200 here, that's a lot cheaper than $600 or $700 that you have to spend if you want to get into either of those other systems. I even have right here an HDZero build under construction. I was basically trying to make one of these, but I find working with these really small components to be difficult. I'm not a great solderer. I'm not a great tinkerer. I kind of have to be to do this, but you know, it's difficult working with these small components. So yeah, you could convert your stuff. You can buy this HD Whoop Light board with the Whoop Light camera and create some of your own whoops from some of your existing stuff. So there is that, but you have to know what you're doing, and it's not super easy. So at the end of the day, I'm not gonna tell you which one of these is best for you. That's kind of for you to figure out. But back to the subject of the video, the Moblite7. The short is, yeah, lots of fun. But, you know, there are some drawbacks to this. You know, some people don't like the fact that it runs a PH 2.0 connector. I don't mind it because I have so many of those PH 2.0 batteries, but it isn't the most efficient. You can see here that my frame is cracked. Actually, this frame right here goes over the USB connector, so you got to kind of move it out of the way. That ended up snapping in a crash. I did crack the frame here. You know, all these incidental frame cracks will happen. Now, the one problem I did have is I busted a motor. You know, I crashed really hard, and I put these props, so these gem fans, they have this really thick, heavy hub. And when I crashed, I was flying inside a gym. When I crashed, I hit the floor. It kind of ruptured right inside there, top of the bell. So, you know, had I been flying with the bi-blade props, I'm pretty sure that would not have happened. But that does kind of point out one of the weak points. Now, this is the first 1002 motor that I've ever used, so I can't really say that I know much about them, but you know, that's not super fantastic that that happened to me. So I will be replacing that motor because I really do enjoy flying this thing. Now, I'm going to have to do some soldering because these are not plug-and-play motors. They've removed the plugs in order to save weight, and I think that's probably a good thing. In this particular case, it's moderately annoying, but again, that was my fault. That was a crash, right? That was a hard crash, you know, from pretty high up, so that is to be expected. Yeah, you can kind of see, not the best, but anyway, things happen. You got to fix these drones. If you're going to buy one of these things, you have to be prepared for it to crash or crack or break at some point, and you may have to do some repairs. That's part of getting into this hobby. It's not like a video game. We crash these things in real life. So at the end of the day, I'm a fan whether you go with the Moblite7, the Mobula6, which is what I really like, and actually got a lot of fun with this Mobula7 HDZero. There's even the original Moblite7, and that thing was awesome. I was getting 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes of flight time on different batteries, and then I changed it up and made it more durable, but still an excellent option as well. I'm going to continue riding the HDZero train. I don't know yet if I'm going to buy a set of goggles. I mean, I already do have this VRX. I suppose I could give the VRX to Chris. He could use that if I do get the goggles. They're expensive. You know what? If this video gets 100 likes, I'll buy a set of HDZero goggles. Yeah, I will. Give me a thumbs up, like the video. I'll buy some goggles. I'll review them and let you know what I think. So yeah, kind of a bummer that I didn't get as many flights in on this thing as I wanted. I did get close to 24 flights on this thing before it kicked the bucket, and it will live again, so there is that. I got a few other things and tweaks that I want to do to this thing outside of just tri-blade props, so check back in for that. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. If it was, give us a thumbs up. Consider checking out our website, halfchrome.com. Good luck, everyone, and happy flying.